Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
Yeah.
I spent 4 years in the military, in Air Force.
Yeah, I just breezed past that a little bit, didn't I?
Well, it's part of your story, but I think it's kind of a pivotal one because I think for me, I've spent the last 23 years of my life overseas. Okay. There are some similarities between the mission of military and the mission that we call missions or the mission of God. There's some contrast and there's some similarities. What's it like to go from military to missionary?
It is, well, some would say it turns your world upside down, but I would say it turned mine right side up.
Wow.
All right. I know it's...
that's clever. Nice clever.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the first time you've ever said that.
Right. First time I've ever said it, and I totally made it up originally as well. No. But it's definitely, man, the focus being working for a government versus an earthly government, I guess, versus working for one where the king himself wants relationship with you, and that being a huge point of it, and wanting you to be in his family, and just viewing that that perspective shift of like having a role to play in that, and a lot of responsibility, and it having to do with life and death. There's some things that are definitely similar, and for me, I take it very seriously, the work that I do, but also realize that there's a lot of enjoyment that God has for us here. And that's something that in the military weren't always afforded.
Joy along the journey?
What's that?
Joy? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah.
I think that there's so many different things that freedom-wise that you don't necessarily have access to when you work for like a government organization, whereas just being a believer and following after Christ is just wondrous freedom. Yeah. And being able to do that is so beautiful.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Good. I mean, I think there's some similarities I could easily hear through the nuances of what you're saying, because you go to places that not a lot of believers go to. They're probably not safe. How many countries have you been to in your travels?
33, actually.
33. Yeah. I'm sure you've been to places that are kind of precarious, maybe war-torn conflict regions.
Yeah, a few, some more poverty-stricken than necessarily war-torn, but definitely some that are no stranger to it.
Yeah. So, well, I think what you're pointing to is a small K kingdom versus the big K kingdom.
Absolutely.
I think believers often I myself get mixed up. What is the big K kingdom? You know, is the thing that I'm doing now serving a small K kingdom? Is it just nationalism, or is it a service for a king whose reign never ends?
That's good.
So, you know, I think there's that mistaken identity sometime, but I'm glad to see you're hurled into this new kind of arena and making waves on the mission in the missions world.
Yeah, it's amazing to know that like everything that I am is a part of this versus a part of my beliefs and like more of like core values or things are in alignment, but rather when it's like your whole being of like who you are, where you're going, why you do what you do, when all of that's aligned like under the kingdom of God versus just for something of man, it's such a beautiful thing to like actually feel fully immersed in that, and that sink or swim, it's like he's already won. So it's a beautiful thing. That's something amazing that every battle you enter into in the kingdom of God, it's like, well, we already know the outcome.
Yeah. And I think this is not in any way to belittle those who are serving their country or our country, because that is not what we're saying at all.
Right.
I think what you're saying is just, it is completion, a consummation of your passion and like you said, values all coming together. And I think that's why I draw similarities sometimes between military and missionary, because, you know, I've been interrogated 22 times in China. I've been caught by 100 child soldiers carrying AK-47s in Myanmar, formerly Burma. So these are situations many military personnel might find themselves in as well. And so, but when I come home, there's no applause, of people waiting for me at airports. There's nothing like that. but you're trying to see beyond tangibles to the intangible kingdom, right? The here and now and not yet of the kingdom of God, because it is here and now, it's alive, active, but we're also waiting for it to be fulfilled, the consummation of Christ's return, right?
Absolutely. And it's beautiful that like what you're saying, that we can do stuff now.
Yeah.
Like finding those that are overlooked or oppressed,
yeah.
and coming in and doing what we can, and like following God's lead in these places, and bringing that love and hope to places that may not have had any love or hope before.
Yeah.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.